Hello and welcome back to Learn English with Mike. I'm your host, Mike, and as always, I'm joined by the wonderful Sarah. How are you doing today, Sarah?
I'm doing great, Mike. I'm really excited about today's topic. It's something I think everyone, including us, can relate to. We're talking about the lies I told myself.
It's a deep one. We're diving into the concept of self-deception. That's a great vocabulary word for our listeners. Deception is the act of making someone believe something that isn't true. So, self-deception is when we lie to ourselves.
Exactly. And these aren't big dramatic lies. They're often small, quiet whispers in our minds that hold us back from growing, from being happy, or from achieving our goals.
So, let's start by identifying some of these common lies. What's the first one that comes to your mind, Sarah?
I think the biggest and most common one is the lie of procrastination. You know, the classic, "I'll do it tomorrow."
Ah, yes. Tomorrow. The magical land where all our productivity, diets, and exercise routines live.
Totally. We tell ourselves, "I'm just too tired today," or "I work better under pressure." But really, we're just avoiding something. That phrase, "I work better under pressure," is such a common justification.
It is. And that's a great word, justification. It means giving a reason for something. We are masters at justifying our inaction. For our listeners, procrastination means delaying or postponing a task that you should be doing.
Another big category of lies is about our own abilities. Things like, "I'm not good enough," or "I could never do that."
Right. This is often called impostor syndrome. That's the feeling that you are not as talented or intelligent as other people think you are, and you fear they will find out. You feel like a fake or an imposter.
Exactly. It's the voice that says, "Don't apply for that job, you're not qualified." Or, "Don't speak up in the meeting, you'll sound stupid." It's a lie that keeps us small.
And it's closely related to what psychologists call limiting beliefs. These are assumptions we hold about ourselves that prevent us from moving forward. I'm too old to change careers. I'm just not a creative person.
Yes, or when I hear from people learning a new skill, "I'll never be as good as them." It's a comparison lie that steals our joy and motivation.
That's a powerful way to put it. It steals our joy. A third type of lie is the lie of blame. This is when we tell ourselves, "It's not my fault." We blame our problems on our boss, our family, the economy, anyone but ourselves.
Right, "I would be happier if my partner was more supportive." Or, "I can't save money because my job doesn't pay enough." It takes the responsibility away from us.
And when we give away responsibility, we also give away our power to change the situation. If it's always someone else's fault, then we are helpless. We become a victim of our circumstances. There's another one I see all the time, Sarah. It's a sneaky cousin of the "I'm not good enough" lie. It's the lie of perfectionism.
Oh, absolutely. The idea that if I can't do it perfectly, I won't do it at all. It's not about high standards. It's a form of self-sabotage. That's such an important point. So, we have the lies of procrastination, the lies about our abilities, and the lies of blame. This leads to the big question: why do we do this? Why do our brains create these stories that don't serve us?
Well, in almost all cases, it comes down to one thing: avoiding discomfort. Our brains are fundamentally wired to seek pleasure and avoid pain. It's a survival mechanism.
Okay, so connect that to procrastination.
Think about a difficult task, like writing a big report for work or studying for an exam. That task is associated with negative feelings: boredom, anxiety, fear of failure. Your brain wants to avoid those feelings. So it tells you a convenient lie: "I'll do it tomorrow." And in that moment, you get a little hit of relief.
So the lie gives us immediate comfort, even if it causes more pain in the long run.
Precisely. It's a short-term solution. The same goes for the "I'm not good enough" lie. Trying something new and failing feels bad. It's uncomfortable. So our brain protects us by saying, "Don't even try. You're not good enough anyway." It keeps us safe in our comfort zone.
The comfort zone, that familiar place where nothing grows. I had a personal experience with this when I first started thinking about public speaking. The story I told myself was, I'm just a naturally shy person, I'm an introvert.
Ma'am.
And I used that as a shield. I used it to avoid opportunities that terrified me. The truth wasn't that I was incapable, it was that I was scared. The lie, I'm just shy, was more comfortable than the truth. I'm afraid of being judged.
That is a perfect example. You protected your ego. Our ego is our sense of self-importance or self-esteem. Admitting we are afraid makes us feel vulnerable. So the ego steps in and creates a more acceptable story.
Yeah, vulnerable. That's a good word for our listeners. It means being in a situation where you can be easily hurt, physically or emotionally.
Exactly. This whole process is related to a psychological concept called cognitive dissonance. That's a fancy term, but the idea is simple. It's the mental discomfort we feel when we hold two conflicting beliefs, or when our actions don't match our beliefs.
Okay, can you give an example?
Sure. Let's say you believe you are a healthy person, but you eat junk food every day. That creates dissonance. It feels bad. To resolve it, you can either change your behavior or change your belief. It's much easier to tell yourself a lie. Oh, I'll start eating healthy next week. Or I deserve a treat. That lie reduces the mental discomfort.
Wow, so our lies are basically mental tricks to make ourselves feel better in the moment.
That's the core of it. They are shortcuts to avoid the hard work of change or facing uncomfortable truths.
Okay, this is all making so much sense. But these lies are sneaky. They feel like the truth. So, how can we get better at recognizing them in our own minds? How do we become more self-aware?
That's the million-dollar question. And the answer isn't a quick fix. It's a practice. One of the most effective methods I've found is journaling.
Just writing your thoughts down?
Yes, but with a specific focus. At the end of the day, think about something that caused you stress, anxiety, or made you procrastinate. Write down the situation, and then write down the story you told yourself about it. For example, situation. My boss gave me critical feedback. Story. My boss thinks I'm incompetent. I'm gonna get fired.
Right. And once it's on paper, you can look at it more objectively.
Exactly. You can then ask questions. Is that story 100% true? What's a more balanced or realistic interpretation? Maybe the truth is, my boss gave me feedback to help me improve because they value my work. Seeing the lie written down separates it from you and makes it easier to challenge.
Another powerful technique is to pay attention to your language. Notice when you use absolute words like always, never, impossible. For example, I always mess things up, or I'll never learn English perfectly.
That is a huge signal. Life is rarely absolute. When you hear that kind of black and white thinking in your head, it's almost certainly a lie, or at least a gross exaggeration.
And you can also look for emotional cues. How does your body feel when you tell yourself a certain story? If the thought, I have to finish this project perfectly, makes your shoulders tense and your stomach churn, that's a sign that the story isn't serving you. It might be a lie based on perfectionism.
That's a fantastic point. Our bodies often know the truth before our conscious minds do. One more thing is to ask for feedback from people you trust. Sometimes we are too close to our own lies to see them clearly.
That can be scary, but so valuable. You could ask a trusted friend, hey, I have this belief that I'm not very creative. What do you think? Their outside perspective can shatter a lie you've held for years.
Okay, so we've talked about what the lies are, why we tell them, and how to start recognizing them. Now for the most important part, how do we break free? Once you've identified a lie, what's the next step?
I think the first step is to question the lie directly. Let's take the lie. I'm not good enough to start my own business. You have to become a detective and look for evidence.
Right? Challenge it. Ask yourself, is this 100% true? Have I ever succeeded at anything in my life? What skills do I have that could be useful? You're looking for counter evidence that proves the lie is false.
And after you question it, you need to replace it. You can't just leave an empty space. You need to create a new, more empowering belief.
That is critical. So instead of "I'm not good enough," you might replace it with "I am learning and growing, and I am capable of figuring this out." It doesn't have to be "I am perfect and amazing." It just has to be more true and more helpful.
That's a great distinction. It's not about toxic positivity, it's about realistic optimism. Then, the most crucial part is to take action. A new belief is meaningless until you act on it.
Absolutely. Action is the ultimate lie detector. If you believe I'll do it tomorrow, the action is to do just 5 minutes of it today. If you believe I'm too shy to network, the action is to send one email to a person in your field.
It's about taking a small, manageable step. That small victory provides new evidence for your new belief. It starts a positive feedback loop.
Yes, you're building a new identity through small actions. Finally, throughout this whole process, you must practice self-compassion.
Oh, this is so important. Can you explain what self-compassion means for our listeners?
Self-compassion means treating yourself with the same kindness and understanding that you would offer to a good friend. When you catch yourself telling a lie, don't beat yourself up. Don't say, "I'm so stupid for thinking that."
Right. Instead, you could say, "Isn't it interesting that my brain is trying to protect me with this old story? Thank you, brain, but I'm going to choose a different path now." It's about acknowledging the lie without judgment.
Beautifully said. Acknowledging without judgment. This whole journey isn't about achieving perfection. It's about making progress and becoming a more honest, authentic version of yourself.
This makes me think of another huge everyday lie, Mike, the "I don't have time" lie.
Ah, yes, a classic. People say this all the time, but if you look at their screen time reports on their phones, you see they have hours for social media. The lie isn't about a lack of time. It's about a lack of priorities. Definitely. It's a mental muscle. The first few times, it feels slow and mechanical. But with repetition, you start to do it automatically. You begin to catch the lies in real time and challenge them before they can take root. You are literally rewiring the neural pathways in your brain for a more resilient mindset.
This takes consistent practice, I imagine. It's not a one-time fix.
That's an excellent analogy. You are taking a subjective, emotional feeling and looking at it with objective logic. It separates you from the thought. You are not your thoughts. You are the observer of your thoughts.
Catastrophizing. That's a fantastic vocabulary word. It means imagining the worst possible outcome. This technique stops that process in its tracks. It's like you're a scientist examining the data of your own thoughts.
Exactly. The new thought might be, "While I haven't heard back yet, and that makes me anxious, there are many possible reasons for the delay that have nothing to do with me or the quality of my proposal. I will follow up in a few days if I don't hear anything." This takes the emotional charge out of the situation. It helps you avoid catastrophizing.
Wow. When you list it out, the evidence against column is always much longer. The final step is to create a new, alternative, and balanced thought.
Perfect. Now, evidence for the lie. Well, they didn't respond. That's about it. Now, evidence against. They could be busy. The email could be in their spam folder. They might be on vacation. I've had clients take a week to respond before and still win the project. My proposal was reviewed by a colleague who thought it was strong.
Okay, let's use a real example. Situation. I send an email to a potential client and don't get a response. Automatic thought. They must have hated my proposal. I failed. Emotions. Anxiety at 80%, disappointment at 90%.
It works like this. You draw out a few columns. First, the situation that triggered the thought. Second, the automatic thought, the lie itself. Third, you rate your emotions. Fourth, and this is key, you actively search for evidence for the lie. Then, fifth, you search for evidence against the lie. I'd love to. A classic CBT tool is called a thought record. It builds on the journaling idea we discussed, but gives it a powerful, logical structure. It's a way to systematically dismantle a lie.
So, we've identified lies and their causes. Let's dig deeper into a really practical technique. You mentioned cognitive behavioral therapy, or CBT, before. Can we give our listeners a simple tool from that approach?
That's a great point. It's about the long-term relationship versus the short-term discomfort. Honest communication, delivered with tact and compassion, is the foundation of any strong relationship.
It's true. If you tell a friend you love their terrible new painting, it feels kind in the moment. But what happens when they decide to invest their life savings into becoming an artist based on your encouragement? A difficult truth is often a greater act of kindness than an easy lie.
This is a tricky area. Of course, we should be kind. But often, the lie is more about protecting ourselves from the other person's potential reaction, their anger, their sadness. Once again, it's about avoiding our own discomfort. And over time, these small lies can lead to an erosion of trust. Erosion is a great word. It means to gradually wear something away.
Let's shift gears slightly. What about the lies we tell other people? So-called white lies that we tell to protect their feelings.
Absolutely. We broke it down. The first action was just brainstorming topics for 10 minutes. That's it. That small action made it feel real and gave us the energy to plan the next step. Action was the engine, not the destination.
It's so true. I remember when we first considered starting this podcast, the idea felt huge and intimidating. If we had waited for the perfect moment or a lightning bolt of inspiration, we would still be waiting today.
That's a profound one. Most professional writers, artists, or creators will tell you they don't rely on inspiration. They rely on discipline and routine. Motivation isn't the cause of action. It's the result of it. When you take a small action, you create momentum, and that momentum builds into motivation.
Here's another one I used to tell myself. I need to feel motivated, or I'll wait until I'm inspired to start. That's a trap. It puts you in a passive position, waiting for a magical feeling that may never arrive.
It comes right back to avoiding discomfort. It's uncomfortable to admit to ourselves that we are choosing not to do something beneficial. It's far easier to blame an external factor, like the clock.
Exactly. It's much more honest to say, learning a new language is not a priority for me right now, then I don't have time. The first statement gives you ownership and control. The second one makes you a victim of your schedule.
All right, we've covered a lot of ground today. Let's do a quick recap. We tell ourselves lies about procrastination, our abilities, and blame to avoid discomfort and protect our ego.
To fight back, we need to become aware of these lies by journaling, watching our language, and listening to our emotions.
Then, we need to challenge the lie, replace it with a more empowering belief, and most importantly, take a small action to prove that new belief is true.
And we must do it all with a healthy dose of self-compassion, treating ourselves like a friend on this journey.
So, for our listeners this week, here is your challenge. Try to identify just one small, recurring lie you tell yourself. Just notice it. You don't have to fix it all at once. The first step is always awareness.
We'd love to hear your thoughts. What's a common lie you've told yourself? Let us know in the comments on our website or on our social media channels. Your story might just help someone else recognize their own.
That's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for tuning in to Learn English with Mike.
Until next time, be honest and be kind to yourselves. Bye, everyone.